Hi, Craig Single, bringing you the Eastern ACE 2019-2020 year in review. Normally done at the annual conference. This year is coming to you from my backyard. It's been quite a year. I think my experiences working in higher education as a vendor and now as an employer really helped prepare me for what happened this year. And throughout the year, myself and the entire board were guided by our new and improved mission statement to foster relationships between colleges and employers to develop the future workforce. It's very simple. It's guiding us through the social change that we're experiencing now and through the strategic plan that we worked on throughout the year. Before I get to the year in review, I'd like to introduce Allie Joyce, the Director of Finance, to give us all the financial year in review.
Hi, my name is Allie Joyce. I'm the current Director of Finance. I'm going to give a brief overview of the 2019-2020 financial year and then dive into our budget, what we're projecting for 2020-2021. So most organizations across the world really are feeling the economic impacts of the pandemic. Eastern ACE really is no exception to this. So we are starting to see some of those impacts already. Thankfully, Eastern ACE historically has operated in a very fiscally responsible way. So we have reserves that we're able to pull from to really cushion the impact that we're currently seeing from the pandemic. During this past year as a whole, we really focused on operating in a more streamlined fashion to reduce the administrative costs associated with Eastern ACE headquarters staff. So we're going to continue this push in the coming year to work a little bit smarter in that regard. Of course, in the middle of the pandemic, we're continuing to really monitor our revenue and our expenses as we begin to try to see how we can creatively shift our programming and bring values back to our members. So really jumping in to the revenue from this coming financial year. So we moved the annual conference, of course, so it'll now be a virtual conference in August. So that is in next financial year. So there is no revenue coming in from the conference for the year. Good news, as of May 31st, we hit 90% of our projected membership goal for the year, this fiscal year. So we have over 1,900 members total, which is the highest number of members in Eastern ACE history. So again, exciting news there and good to know that as well. Moving on to a look at our expenses. So again, annual conference will be moved into the next fiscal year. We did invest in some new technology on our website to help streamline some of those internal processes that I mentioned earlier. And in most areas, looking at our expenses, we were either right in line with our budget or came in well below that budget for this financial year. Looking forward to 2020-2021, to our budget there, really the board has had several discussions around finance and really wanting to prioritize supporting our members through this really difficult period. So a couple of those decisions that the board has made that have financial impacts potentially, making the 2020 virtual conference free of charge for members. So again, giving members that opportunity to still connect, engage, and learn, we decided was really important. Not charging to post jobs on the Eastern ACE website through December 2020. So again, something that we decided was really important for membership to have that access to that opportunity, and then not increasing membership fees for this current year moving forward. So really these decisions and the situation at large, we will have a discrepancy between the revenue that we're bringing in and the expenses that we plan to incur for this coming year. So we will be pulling from our reserves in that way. So again, in this coming year, we really plan to find ways to be mindful of our spending while still creatively pushing out programs, ways to connect for our members in that way. So again, Remaining fiscally and financially responsible is definitely a priority, especially in the middle of this situation. So that's kind of a brief overview of our financial situation, our budget, and where we're heading. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Allie, and thank you for all the former board members who helped ensure that EACE would maintain financial stability by building a great reserve, allowing us to really survive in flying colors this pandemic, which has had a significant impact, and feel that it will have a significant impact on the association going forward. So last summer at Hartford, Connecticut, the board for this year got together and we spent some time looking at the strategic plan. And two things that I really wanted to achieve this year was to look at what were our signature programs, what's working, maybe what's not, and really help the association drive forward. The other thing I wanted to achieve was to continue to build on the efficiencies for our committees, for our headquarters team, to help drive the association forward. There was a lot of behind the scenes work and successes this year, and we had some really public successes as well. We live in a very different world today, of course, and the strategic plan that started 2 years ago is going to have to be completely redone. I'll leave that to Jen and the board that she'll lead us through in this next year. I know we have an amazing board that is going to really help us get through the pandemic and really keep the social change that we're experiencing front and center and really help us drive through our D&I efforts led by Dr. Alicia Monroe. So that's our first success. I wanted to talk about everything that Alicia has done for us in the diversity and inclusion board position. It's the first time that the association has had that role, and I do want to thank her and the entire D&I team for the amazing work that they've done. Specifically looking at building the affinity groups. So that's something you'll see at our virtual conference and going forward. It's just a beginning. There's a handful that we're focused on right now. You'll continue to see more of those develop as we move forward. I also want to stress how important to me personally diversity and inclusion is. This is not a board position. This is not just Dr. Monroe's responsibility. This is all of our responsibility for the association and for our profession. So I really have centered around our mission statement and what we can be doing to help develop our future workforce to bring equality and access to every single one of the students on our campuses to help them be successful in their job searches without any sort of systemic racism that would prevent them from getting the opportunity they need to start their career. So it's not just Alicia's responsibility, it's not just the board's responsibility, it's the responsibility of every single volunteer and every member of the association to help drive each other and drive the profession forward. So it's been a great success. It's only year one. Can't wait to see what the next year brings for our diversity and inclusion efforts. The next thing is some new systems and software that our headquarters team has implemented really has helped the committees, all of our volunteers really be successful and more efficient by leveraging tools and systems behind the scenes in our headquarters platforms. So really been a key success. Thank you to our headquarters team for making that happen and for our committee volunteers for utilizing those tools. We did a membership survey. From that survey, we heard loud and clear, more webinars, more opportunities for professional development. So our webinars went from 4 with 144 registrants last year to 7 with 345. Obviously, with our current pandemic situation, we anticipate more virtual and electronic means of communicating, our great Twitter chats, and continued webinars as we move forward. The other thing is our membership did continue to grow this year. Right up until COVID-19 hit, we are on a trend to continue to grow our membership. We hope to continue to grow membership in those areas, employers, two-year institutions, underrepresented universities and colleges and employers to really help continue to grow that part of our membership to really have robust conversations about the future of the profession. So those are just a couple of the highlights. There have been many more, of course, little wins. Our professional exchange team was able to convert all of those to virtual events. So those are happening right now. So thank you for all the teams who had to really adapt to a new way of operating. Without those volunteers, it just wouldn't have happened. And I almost forgot our annual conference, probably the team that had to adapt the most. So thank you to the leadership of Christine Falcone, Junior Delgado, certainly Jen Rossi Long helped support them as their board liaison. And they did in 6 weeks what most associations plan a whole year for. They took a whole conference and made it virtual. I'm super excited to see how that turns out in August. Unfortunately, we all will not be together in Baltimore. It was a great city. We'll be back. So no worries there. But thank you for that whole conference committee for really doing an amazing amount of work in 6 weeks to make it a reality as a virtual conference. Lastly, I want to thank the entire board for keeping me grounded at times. I come up with a lot of ideas and most of them are not so good, but they were there to keep me grounded. It really was an unbelievable year. We got cut short because of COVID for our last 2 in-person meetings, but we had a lot of great Zoom meetings, a lot of good laughs. I think a few emotions and a few tears were shed along the way as well. So certainly a year I'll never forget. Having joined the association in 1998, 22 years later, it's been an amazing ride. So it's been my distinct honor to be your president for the year, to be a member for 22 years, and to give back as president. During the virtual conference, there's many names that I'll be sharing with you that received awards, that will receive presidential citations. So thank you for everyone and all the work that you did this year. Just an unbelievable year, and I'm super excited about the year ahead under Jen Rossi Long's leadership. So thank you all. It's been my pleasure. Goodbye for me for now. I will hope to see you in person in Atlantic City and virtually in August. And now it's my pleasure to turn it over to Jen Rossi Long to talk about the year ahead. Thank you so much.
Hello, Eastern ACE. For those of you whom I haven't had the opportunity to meet, my name is Jen Rossi Long, and I work at Westchester University. I also have the honor of serving as president of the association in the coming year. So I'm really looking forward to the year ahead, even with all of its unique challenges, because I believe that hidden just under the surface of those challenges is something really exciting. I think it's an opportunity for Eastern ACE as an association to evolve, to grow, and to become. Over the last few months, having to transition the conference to a completely virtual format was challenging, but it was also a really great opportunity to look at our largest signature program through a totally different lens and to consider how the changes that we're making this year can be sustained so that we can continue to provide access to the conference to more of our membership in the future. I'm also really excited when I think about the work that's been started in making all of our members feel seen, heard, welcome, and included. And of course, there's still a lot of work to do, but I think we're off to a good start, and I'm excited to see that unfold. So as we take care of ourselves and our professional development needs through Eastern ACE, my hope is that we'll also view ourselves as people who have the responsibility and the great pleasure of propelling the social mobility of all of our students and all of our new hires. I consider myself very fortunate to be able to do that work in partnership with each of you. I look forward to listening, to learning, and leading, and of course, having some fun as well. So that's what I'm thinking when I consider the year ahead. And in the words of Muhammad Ali, what you're thinking is what you're becoming. So let's think differently about our work and inclusively about how we approach our work, and then enjoy the journey to becoming the future of our association and our profession. I look forward to working with each of you and in service to each of you, and I hope that we can make it a great year. Thank you.